Hello, I'm Anastasia, and this is a demonstration of how to make a deluxe brookie. So, a brookie is a cookie and a brownie mixed into one. And there are different variations on how to make a brookie, but this is just how I made them. It started off as literally just cookie and brownie, but we've amped it up a little bit. So, this is the deluxe brookie. So here we have our Betty Crocker chocolate chip cookie mix. We also have our Betty Crocker brownie mix. We have our double stuffed Oreos that are crushed up. And we have our Reese's Peanut Butter Cup minis that are cut in half. All right, so step one would be preheat the oven. You can't make brownies without a hot oven. So I preheat to 365. I like to do a little on the higher end. The cookies are usually 350. The brownies are upwards of like 365-ish, 370. So I like to have it at 365 just to make sure that the brownie is nice and cooked, even though we like it a little fudgy on the inside. So yeah, preheat your oven, 365. Next step is I'm going to line my pan. Here I have just a square pan. It's probably like a 9 by 9. You can use any square pan or even a rectangular pan. It literally doesn't even matter. So I like to take my parchment paper, make sure that there's enough for the edges. I'm not going to stay until we put the dough in there, but yes, line the pan. Okay. Next step, we are going to take our cookie dough. We're going to take that with our rubber spatula and we're going to press it into the bottom of this pan. Nice and even. Yeah, you want to use all of the dough. Make sure that that's nice and flat. So make sure you get it nice. I like to make sure it's kind of like perfectly square with the bottom of the pan. So I like to press into the corners, make sure that it's all nice and even. So we'll stick all of it. Got a couple of stragglers here. Like so. All right. There's that. Our cookie dough pressed to the bottom of the pan. Nice and even. All right. Step two is our second layer. Our second layer is our Oreos. So, like I said, I like to use double stuff. And I crush them up. You can line them up as well if you want to like literally cut your brownies and make sure every single slice has like a full Oreo in it. I've done that before as well, but I like the crumbling idea. And I like to keep some bigger chunks so that like you get some of like the icing in your Oreo chunks. So we're just gonna sprinkle on those there. I probably used about like 8 Oreos, maybe like 8 to 10 Oreos. Sometimes I don't use them all, but yeah, I like to use anywhere between 8 or 10. So we're sprinkling those on nice and evenly here. Making sure we have nice big chunks of icing from the inside of the Oreos. Trying to cover the cookie dough nice and evenly, even getting some smaller crumbles, smaller Oreo cookie crumbles in there. Big icing chunk there. Woo. Okay, so now that we have a majority of our there, you can see that's what we have there. And now is our next layer. Our next layer is the brownie mix. So I like to put the brownie mix in like a pancake mixer, almost like a glass. It has a handle on it just so you can pour it easily. Pouring with a bowl can be a little difficult sometimes, and you know, trying to make sure it's even and things of that nature. It's just easier to pour with a handle. So here we are. We're going to pour our fudge brownie mix right on top. Make sure that's nice and even. This is going to be so good. Yes. Sometimes I don't use all of the brownie mix. It makes it really heavy. It's really heavy as it is. But I would say I use probably 3/4 of the brownie mix. You can use more, you can use less. I say about 3/4 of the mix is good enough. It covers the Oreos. It makes it nice and thick and solid when the brownie bakes into everything else. Yeah, so here we are. Used about 3/4 of the mix there. Spread it, get it into the corners, make sure it's nice and even, conforming to the square pan, covering all the Oreos. Perfect. And that's what we have there. So we have cookie dough, Oreo, and now we have brownie on top. Now, the last step in making this deluxe brookie is taking our peanut butter cups. Like I said, miniatures, cut them in half. I used about 10. So I like to strategically sprinkle, and I say strategically because I want it to be sprinkled. I don't want them to be like lined up, but I do want it to be quite even across the board so that every piece gets, at least 1 or 2 peanut butter cups in it. So here I am just kind of like sprinkling one by one, sometimes 2 at a time, making sure that they're just like evenly distributed across the brownie. You can have them facing up with some of the peanut butter facing up. You can have them facing down. It doesn't matter. Just sprinkle them on there. Sprinkle them all on there. Don't forget any peanut butter cups. We need all of them. Okay, like so. You can even get rid of some of the chocolate and such on there. All right, so that is our brookie, our deluxe brookie. All right, so once you have everything in the pan, everything's nice and layered, it looks delicious. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop it in the oven. The 365, it's already hot and ready to bake our brookie. So we're gonna pop it in the oven, and you let it bake for about it's probably a wide range. I would say depending on your oven and depending on how much brownie mix and how many layers you actually put into the brownie, I would say anywhere from 26 to 32 minutes. You can check it, kind of in between there. What I like to do is take a toothpick, which you usually use for like cake, but I feel like it works for the brownie. You take a toothpick, stick it in a couple places, just make sure that it's, it should be a little moist, but it shouldn't be like wet with the brownie mix, if that makes sense. So yeah, we're gonna pop that in the oven, 26 to 32 minutes. Check on it, make sure that it's baking through. If you shake the pan and it's wiggly, the brownie is wiggly, you definitely need to keep it in there a little longer. So yeah, we're gonna bake that. Pop that in, and you've got our finished product. The deluxe brookie. So here it is. I'm gonna cut it up. Make sure that it looks delicious. So once again, our layers are cookie dough, Oreo, brownie, peanut butter cups sprinkled on top. This is, honestly, it's quick, it's easy. Everybody loves chocolate. I mean, most people love chocolate. So having these deluxe brownies, bringing them to a dinner party, a Christmas party, any kind of party, a birthday party, just bringing them to your neighbor just because these are delicious and gotta try them.